Welcome to this explainer. You know, the pages of Crafting a Beer Renaissance by Maxwell J. Aramano actually hold the key to a massive, hidden David versus Goliath story, and it is literally happening right inside your refrigerator. Today, we're exposing the secret war for your beer. Okay, let's dive into this. Who really brews your beer? When you walk down the beverage aisle, you might think you're looking at hundreds of completely unique independent choices. But you're about to discover a high-stakes mystery. We're going to expose the truth hiding inside your glass and show exactly how a small group of rebels completely change the way the world drinks. To really understand this war, we've got to look at two totally opposing forces. On one side, you have the industrial macro lager. Think back to the late 20th century, we basically entered a dark age of watery, mass-produced corporate lagers, where efficiency and homogenization completely erased flavor. But rising up on the exact opposite side was the craft microbrew. This was a vibrant flavor rebellion built entirely on diversity, artistry, and putting actual taste way above absolute cost-cutting. Now, this rebellion definitely didn't happen overnight. It was sparked by a chronological wave of really visionary founders. It all started in the 1960s with Fritz Maytag rescuing Anchor Brewing. Then jumped to 1976, and Jack McAuliffe launches New Albion, which was literally the first small brewery since Prohibition. 1980 saw Ken Grossman founding Sierra Nevada, and by 1984, Jim Koch was bringing Samuel Adams to the masses. These founding fathers really ignited a brilliant brewing rebellion against those homogeneous corporate giants. And what was their primary weapon? Well, it was an absolute arsenal of flavor. They completely shattered what consumers expected by brewing hoppy American IPAs just bursting with citrusy and piney aromas. We're talking rich, barrel-aged stouts with this incredible robust roastiness, intensely complex and tangy sour ales, and wildly creative hybrid styles. This sensory explosion was the absolute antithesis of the boring, watery macro lager. But how did they actually pull this off? Well, they used a very specific, almost rebellious brewing process. First, they went straight back to all-grain brewing, totally ditching the cheap additives and extracts that conglomerates were using just to save a buck. Second, they used incredibly bold hop additions to really punch up both the bitterness and the aroma. And third, they embraced experimental barrel aging, taking old bourbon or wine barrels to impart massive, complex flavors. They effectively used the art and science of traditional brewing to redefine consumer expectations from the ground up. From there, the battle moved out of the brewery and directly into the community. Enter the Brewpub. This was a destination, combining in-house brewing right alongside community dining, and it served as the absolute front lines for the drink local movement. By putting the brewing theater right in front of the customer, they connected everyday people directly to the process and the craft itself. It became this amazing holistic experience. And the impact of that local focus was honestly staggering. Thousands. That is the number of jobs, neighborhood revitalizations, and massive local economic booms that were fueled by independent craft brewers. They didn't just brew great beer. They rebuilt local supply chains, they partnered directly with local farmers, and they turned neglected urban areas into thriving, vibrant community hubs. If you find this analysis valuable, please like and subscribe to Knowledge Lighthouse to help us bring more truths to light. Let's move to and see how this builds in Section 1, The Empire Strikes Back, Big Beer's Counterattack. Because, as you can imagine, the corporate overlords certainly weren't just going to sit back and lose their grip on the market. Instead, they launched a massive, well-funded counterattack using some very specific, aggressive tactics. First up, corporate buyouts. They just started purchasing the most successful craft rebels outright. Second, crafty imposter brands. They literally created brand new labels explicitly designed to mimic the aesthetics and authenticity of true microbrews. You combine that with their absolute dominance of supermarket shelf space and mega-budget advertising campaigns, and they effectively engineered a really powerful illusion of choice for the consumer. And this brilliantly illustrates the stark structural differences between true independent craft and big beer subsidiaries. Impartially speaking, the models are just completely different. Independents are owned by passionate individuals or local groups, while subsidiaries have to answer to global corporate boards. Production scale is intensely local versus absolutely massive, and the core motivation dramatically shifts from creative autonomy and community over to maximizing global efficiency and market share. So, in a crowded market totally full of these crafty imposters and buyouts, how do we actually define what's real? Well, the Brewers Association established strict criteria. To be an authentic craft brewer, you must be small, meaning you have a capped annual production limit. You must be independent, meaning basically no corporate control. And you must be traditional, which means relying on historic, authentic brewing methods and ingredients. So the crucial point is the independent craft brewer seal. If you've ever noticed that stylized upside-down beer bottle emblem on a package, well, that seal became the Resistance's primary weapon. It acts as the ultimate mark of authenticity, allowing consumers to immediately identify true independence on a really crowded store shelf and ultimately vote with their wallets. But of course, this ongoing fight creates a massive tension, a huge buyout dilemma for the brewers themselves. On one hand, accepting a corporate buyout offers incredible financial security, drastically expanded distribution, and massive growth potential. On the other hand, staying independent preserves your creative autonomy, your local values, and the grassroots authenticity that built the brand in the first place. It's a profound, structural dilemma for literally any successful craft brewer today. Yet, despite all these corporate counterattacks, the rebellion successfully exported its revolution. We're actually experiencing a true global renaissance right now. From the European microbrew revival, breathing completely new life into old traditions, to a massive Asian craft boom, Latin American innovation utilizing unique tropical ingredients, and some genuinely exciting cross-cultural collaborations. This American-born flavor revolution has fundamentally changed global beer trends forever. So, where does this leave us, and what is the future of this fight? The next frontier isn't just about hops anymore. It's moving towards closed-loop sustainable brewing to protect the environment and radically reduce waste. It's about hyper-local sourcing to support local agriculture and unprecedented hybrid styles that really push the absolute boundaries of culinary experimentation. The war for flavor and authenticity is constantly evolving. Which brings us to a final, pretty provocative thought. Next time you grab a cold one, take a really close look at the label and ask yourself, are you tasting true independence or just a corporate illusion? You now have the knowledge to see exactly what's hiding inside your glass, and you've got the power to choose what kind of brewing future you want to support. There is honestly real value in having a physical copy on your shelf to reference whenever you want. For the complete deep dive, own the paperback. Get your high-quality paperback edition on Amazon via the link in the description. Add it to your collection today. Please share this explainer and check the description for more.